Okay, so welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be a bit different. I'm going to open up about some severe traumatic experiences that I've had to battle with. I thought giving out the way I strategically handled the thing, how I'm handling it today and stuff like that. Someone might be out there as well, struggling with the same thing that I was in and that I'm still currently in, and maybe this video could help them. I don't know. I mean, it could. Hopefully people can watch this and then resonate with it and just take some things from it. And if they're in the same situation, to know that there is a way to get out of the situation. And so today I'm going to tackle the topic of dealing with loss. I mean, losing a loved one, losing a friend, or anything like that that's close to you, losing someone that's important in your life that you love. It's a hard thing to do, and I'm going to tell you my experiences, how I was feeling, what was going through my head, and how I'm still dealing with it, and how I dealt with it in that situation. And hopefully I can shed some light on to help some people who are dealing with the same situation, because it's not something that's really easy to deal with. It takes time, and sometimes it's even harder. And yeah, so this is going to be me at my raw and emotional, probably vulnerable self that you've probably never really seen. Some of the things I'm going to say no one knows about, and I think this might be a way that I can, take it off my chest, get it off my chest, and maybe I might feel a bit lighter about it and stuff. So yeah, I thought I'm just gonna go into it, and I'm gonna discuss it and try and see if I can help people, because I don't want people to go through what I went through, because it's hard. So I'm just gonna jump into it, and I'm gonna start off with so this would have happened when I was around 15 years old. So just a normal day. My nan and granddad, who I called D, because I just did when I was a kid, who was always D to me. So when D and Nan came up, they came up from Albury. It was just normal. That was just normal. They came up and, just the normal stuff. They left, and they're, see you guys in a month or so. We'll come back up. And, that's what happened. They normally would travel, stuff like that. And then they stopped around Dubbo somewhere around Dubbo to visit family and friends and that. And obviously Nan heard something outside their caravan, their motorhome, and she tried to wake him up to say, there's something outside, can we check it? And unfortunately he never actually woke that night. He never woke up, and I will never forget this. That night when all four of us got up, me, my brother, and my twin sisters, we all got up because we heard Mum. I will never forget that moment when hearing Mum, when she was crying, how much pain was through that cry. Like, I will never ever forget that. It is something that you will never forget. And I remember hearing that, and we all just assumed that she might have broke her leg or something like that. Like, she was, I don't know, she tripped over or something and hurt herself really, really bad and needed to go to hospital. So we didn't think much of it. So we went back to bed, because we were all old enough to look after ourselves. I mean, and we lived in a nice little neighborhood too, where it was pretty safe. Like, I've stayed home by myself and stuff like that. We used to walk from school and be home, so it was no big deal for us. But then in the morning, we got up and we were like, oh, we heard you crying last night, so what's going on? And I'll never ever forget this moment as well, when Dad just tells us, you guys just need to sit down on the couch here. And I remember when they told us that Dee didn't wake up, and that feeling when it was told to me, I just couldn't compute what was happening at that point in time. The first thing that went through my head was, no, this isn't real. This is a dream. I'm gonna wake up. And that's honestly what I felt. I felt like, no. This isn't true, because we just saw him. We just saw him literally a day or two ago, and he was fine. So I don't understand this. Like, this isn't happening. This is a dream. I'm gonna wake up any moment. And then, it still didn't click what happened. Like, I'm still trying to compute what Mum and Dad were telling me. And I'm 15 at this stage. I'm like 15, so it's not like I'm like a 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old who doesn't quite understand. I know life and death. Like, I should know by now. But I'm still trying to compute what's going on in that moment. And then I'll never forget when I've fully realized what actually happened. And I was really, really close with him. Like, I was super, super close with him. I used to sit out, have chats with him. Like, he was like a best friend to me. And it was really, really hard at that moment. And then all I remember is the whole entire way when we were driving down to Albury to go to the funeral and that. And it wasn't until we were there that I realized that this isn't a dream. This is actually happening. And I remember just being in Auntie Em's arms and just crying, just breaking down, because I just felt like I lost something, like lost like my best friend and that. And I remember I always said to him that whenever I played in a stadium, I would always reserve the seat for him so he could watch it. And then he never got that chance because I was only 15, so I wasn't at that age where we played in the stadium and stuff like that in the finals, or, you know, making it professional. If I did, I always said I'd make sure there's a seat there for him. And to not be able to fulfill that promise to him, that was weighing on my mind as well. And after he was laid down, that was the moment where I just completely cut myself off. Completely cut myself off from all emotional attachments in a way, and just complete emotionless. Like, I just, at that moment, I said, what is the point of caring for something when something like that can be just ripped out from underneath you like that? Like, something you love so much can just be taken in an instant. In an instant like that. That was what was going through my mind. And I was like, I don't want to care about anything, because I could lose it and then feel this pain again. And I didn't want to feel that pain. So I cut myself completely off emotionally from everything. Everything. I like just nothing. And that whole year, rest of the year, and going on to the next year, I just was in self-destruct mode. I didn't care about anything. Didn't care about school. I didn't care about anything. I was like, I'm just going to live my life to the fullest. I'm just going to live it to the fullest, because I don't know when I'm going to go. I don't know when things are going to go. I don't care about anything. And I was just terrible. I was a right fucking terrible person. I just didn't care about other people's feelings. I was just in self-destruct mode. And then, you know, it got to a point where I was playing football, and I will never forget it. There was one game where we were playing an undefeated team in the final game of the season before finals, and we had to win that. We had to beat the team that hadn't lost all year, dropped any points all year. We had to beat them to avoid a team that had been beating us all year, so that we could then play the team that we're playing now, instead of playing the other team who's beaten us all year. So, and I still remember watching that ball come over my shoulder and then hitting that volley into the bottom corner in the final minutes to win the game for us. And this was the first time that I really felt anything, because like the adrenaline's kicking and that. And after my celebration, after the game, I just remember for 5 minutes just breaking down, because I had cut myself off so much that in that moment, all these emotions flooded back, and then it realized this could be one of the greatest like achievements, goals that I could score in my career, and he wasn't there to see it. And I just broke down, because I was like, I wanted him to see me grow up. He's seen me grow up to 15. I want to see him see me grow as an adult, and I wanted him to be here. Like, I just think if he was alive, he would have been there and he would have seen that. And this is when I started to feel more things. And then my accident also happened, where I was riding my bike and I was hit by a car, and the paramedic said, I don't know how you're still standing. You shouldn't be alive. Like, this car hit me at 80 kilometers an hour, flung me into a ditch full of rocks, missed every single rock. The one time I decided to do up my helmet, and the helmet saved my life, had a big crack along it. And he said, I don't know how you're alive. You shouldn't be alive. There's no way you should be alive, let alone no broken bones. I didn't break a bone or anything. I just had a graze here and a graze on my lower back. And they were stunned. And it was the same date, like a year or two down the track from when Dee died, when my granddad died. And I will never forget that. I took that as something came out of that where I was just like, you know what, someone is keeping me alive for a reason. I should have died that day. I should be dead. I shouldn't even be here. But something was keeping me alive. Whether it's whatever you believe in, but that day I believed that D was there with me no matter what. And he was the reason why I'm still alive. And that was really the big time where I took the shift and was like, you know what? This is him saying to me, you're fucking your life up. Why? Why don't you care about anything? Like, this is not what I want for you. I want you to stay alive, to do stuff, live your life, have a family, do what you want to do. You can do it. And that's what I took from that. And this is when I started to, you know, there's times where I just didn't want to do anything because I was like, well, what's the point? I don't want to like anything because I'm going to get hurt. And then my chance to go to America came to play soccer over in college, and I got in and got accepted. And then like a couple of weeks before I was supposed to go, I had another breakdown. I started breaking down because I was like, I was scared that I was gonna fail and that I couldn't do it without him there. Without him saying, you can do this, I believe in you. I started to doubt myself and started to go, well, what happens if I just fail? What happens if I go over and just completely fail? And then I come back and I look like the biggest mug because I just failed. And not having him there was really hard throughout my whole teenage years because I'm trying to grow as a young man, and not having him there, which I thought he was always going to be there, was really weighing on my mind. So I was depressed. I was just, I didn't want to do anything. I had cut myself off emotionally, and then the fear of failing because he wasn't there to help me through this was there. But then I just remember sitting on the damn wall, looking out into the sunset with my dog Scamps there, and I just remember just unloading it all, everything on him. And basically, I don't know why or what, but I started to think to myself, I can either continue down the path I'm going and not go and just not care about anything, be depressed and just not care, or I can change my mindset, I can change my outcome, my future, and I can do this and live not just for me, but for him. And knowing that I can do this because he's always going to be there no matter what, to watching me. It's clear from my accident. He was there watching me. There's no reason why he's not watching me now. There's no reason why this opportunity was put in front of me. And that was the moment where my mindset changed. Just sitting on that hill with my dog, unloading on him, and then just thinking, I have to live for myself and for him. This is an opportunity that doesn't come around every single day. I'm good enough to go over there. I'm good enough to get selected. And this was the moment where I started to change my mindset. I started to get out of that state of I don't care. And that's when I started to realize I've made a few mistakes here and there on this path now, but I'm going to leave that in the past. I'm going to move forward. And fortunately for me, it was the best decision I ever made, moving over there, because then I met Kylie, and now you see the results. We have a family, and I'm happy and stuff like that now. But as for dealing with the loss, it took me a good amount of time to get over it. I just had to keep the mindset of, I'm living for him and me. I'm doing this because he knows he's there watching me. And it took me so long, and it took me a lot of breakdowns to get to that mindset, to that point where I can change my mindset and move forward. And still to this day, I'm not totally over it. I have moments in the shower where I just break down. I have moments when I'm at work, when I'm driving, I break down. There's a song, The Rose by Westlife, which was one of his favorite songs. I can't listen to that without breaking down. And not having him at my wedding was hard. I remember trying to give my speech when I got to that point. It really fucking hurt him not being there. I always envisioned he would be there. Not having him to watch my kids grow up, to be there to see me as a father. It hurts. It still hurts today. Like, it hurts so much. But I know he's still there, and I know that I can live for him. I know that. And it's hard to get over. You'll never get over it, but you can still live with it. I mean, I can live with it. It's okay. What I'm trying to say is it's okay to have moments where you break down. It's okay. That's okay. I mean, if you've got a wife, a girlfriend, boyfriend, mum, dad, brother, sister, it's okay to go to them and talk and break down. It's okay. Because you'll feel 10 times better. And sometimes I just need that. That's why sometimes when I'm in the shower or alone or something, I'll just break down thinking about him. And that's what I do. And that's totally okay. That's totally fine. If you feel like you need to go and talk to someone every week, that is totally fine. You're not weak for doing that stuff. You're human. This is what we go through. And thankfully, after meeting Kylie, I am now fully emotionally attached now. All my emotions are back and everything like that. And I think what was another saving grace to me was having football there, because football to me is the one place where I can go and take my mind off everything that's happening in the world. It's my little safe place where all that matters in those moments at training and on game day is my friends that I'm playing with, my teammates, and the ball, and the goals, and the field. That's all that matters in that moment. And at that moment, everything else that is happening in the world is gone. All my stresses, everything is gone in that moment. And for those few hours when I'm with them and I am playing, I am at peace with myself. I am at the most peace I've ever been. And that's my escape. So what my advice would be for people who are in depression or, you know, suffering from loss and that, find something you're really passionate about. Find something that you love, a hobby or something like that, and use it as your advantage. Use it as your advantage. Use it as your escape. Just an hour or two where you can go, take everything, take all your mind off everything, relax, sit down and enjoy and be free. Be free. That's the way I deal with it. That's the best piece of advice I can give to people, is that way you can then unload all this and you're at peace. For once, you'll be at peace. And I guarantee you'll feel 10 times better. Once you come out of that peace, you will feel refreshed, rejuvenated, and you will be much more better mind. You have a better mindset moving forward. And it's basically adding in strategies to deal with it. And it all starts with the first step, talking to someone. Whether or not it's a human or a pet. I mean, I didn't talk to anyone really about it. I only talked to my dog. And to me, everything I unloaded on him, dogs are awesome for it, because I unloaded all on Scamps and he just would just sit there and listen, and then he would give me a cuddle afterwards, and it would make me feel 10 times better. And then now I still do it with my dog Bella. I do it with Bella all the time. Like, there'll be times where I just sit there and I'll unload on her. She'll come up and give me a cuddle to make sure I'm okay. And it's okay. And I highly recommend, that's the first step, is talking to someone about it. Being able to then add in goals and strategies to deal with it. Try not to go down the route I went down and cut yourself off emotionally and start self-sabotage, because it's not worth it. There is a way out, and it all starts with that first step, talking to someone, and then putting in strategies, finding a hobby that can take your mind off for a couple of hours where you can be at peace with yourself and with everything else. And remember, it's okay to have breakdowns. I guarantee I'm going to have breakdowns for the rest of my life. Like, it's hard losing someone that's close to you. Death is something that is inevitable. to be honest, like, death is undefeated. It's always going to come around no matter what. We're all going to it's all going to happen. We're going to lose loved ones throughout our life. It's tough. It's very hard. It's all about managing it, getting help, talking to people, and getting a hobby. That's what I've learned from this. It's okay. And yeah, that's just what I got for you guys today. So hopefully this can help someone out there who's dealing with the same thing I went through. It's just want to let you guys know there is a way out. There is it. It's long, it's hard, it takes time, and it all starts with that first step. So thank you for joining me, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.